Hello, welcome to NASA's Centennial Challenges. The Centennial Challenges program, the name of it comes from the Wright brothers and the Centennial Flight. The Wright brothers were standing there in Kitty Hawk Beach and flew their airplane, and all the other people were standing around just kind of looking at it going, that's great, but I have my horse. Why do I need this? And yet 20 years later, 30 years later, 50 years later, it was a huge change, a huge turn in technology at that point in time. And those are the same kind of leaps that we want to make with our Centennial Challenges. We want people to be there, experience the Centennial Challenge, and kind of wonder where it's going to go, what you're going to get from this. But yet, at some point in time, they're going to turn back and go, that was the turning point when they did that Centennial Challenge program.
If you look at what we want to do, what the President has asked us to do, go to Mars. We can't go right now. And the reason we can't go right now is because there are certain technological capabilities that we just don't have. So it's through the challenge programs, through a lot of other innovative programs that are coming from the Chief Technology Office, that we hope to infuse these capabilities into our NASA programs, or not just for NASA, but to give them to industry. You know, one of our biggest responsibilities under the National Space Act is to help to generate business in the American economy, and it's through technology development that we're able to do that for the most part.
The CAFE Green Flight Challenge, sponsored by Google, was held in late September 2011 at the CAFE Foundation Flight Test Center at the Charles M. Schultz Sonoma County Airport in Santa Rosa, California. 3 aircraft competed and 2 met the challenge requirements: to fly 200 miles in less than 2 hours and use less than 1 gallon of fuel or energy equivalent per passenger. The first place prize of $1,350,000 was won by the Pipistrel USA team, led by Jack Langolin of State College, Pennsylvania. Second prize of $120,000 went to the eGenius team, led by Eric Raymond of Ramona, California. The Green Flight Challenge, sponsored by Google, was announced at the AirVenture 2009 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. The flight competition focused on efficiency. The aircraft needed to meet stringent safety and noise requirements, as well as reasonable speed and range. The Green Flight Challenge marked the first time in history that full-scale electric power aircraft flew in competition. This challenge was the third in a series of aviation competitions under the Centennial Challenges program. The challenges aim to bring forth aircraft that maximize fuel efficiency, reduce noise, and improve safety, features that can be applied in the full range of private, commercial, and military aircraft of the future. The 2011 Strong Tether Centennial Challenge was held at the Space Elevator Conference in Redmond, Washington on August 12, 2011. The Space Elevator Conference, sponsored by Microsoft, the Leeward Space Foundation, and the International Space Elevator Consortium, has hosted the Tether competition for 5 years, and for this, the 5th year, there has yet to be a winner. Although no competitor has been able to claim the Centennial Challenge prize, the strength exhibited in competing tethers has continued to increase over the years as new and innovative methods are discovered for fabricating tethers with carbon nanotube technology. The goal of the Strong Tether Challenge is to develop a strong but lightweight tether. The Strong Tether Challenge is driving material science technologies to create long, very strong cables, also known as tethers, with the exceptionally high strength-to-weight ratio. Such tethers will enable advances in aerospace capabilities, including reduction in rocket mass, habitable space structures, tether-based propulsion systems, solar sails, and even space elevators. Dramatically stronger and lighter materials are revolutionizing the engineering of down-to-earth structures such as aircraft bodies, sporting good equipment, and even structures of bridges and buildings.
The dream, I guess, of everyone for a long time has been to have a flying car. And if we can have electric flying cars, that'd be wonderful.
It really is the dawn of a new era for aviation. It's general aviation, finally, with an electric aircraft.
They'll be cheap, simple, easy to fly, renewable energies, quiet. That's what we need to revitalize the aviation industry.
This challenge is for a total of $1.65 million.
We'll use it for further aircraft development, just bigger and better, faster, onward and upward.
We want to fly something or build something that's just as efficient as a Prius.
This is our more cosmic entrance, the hybrid gas-electric battery-powered airplane, which is the first of its kind.
Aviation is definitely one of the most pollutant transportation industries out there, so trying to move towards a greener and healthier mode of propulsion is definitely where we're all headed.
They all have to fly an average of 100 miles per hour or greater.
They require 200 miles per gallon per seat, so with a two-seater we have to average 100 miles per gallon at 100 miles per hour, and there's no gasoline engine that can do that.
The other thing is sound. So you want to be able to fly these at 78 decibels, basically the sound of a dishwasher measured at 250 feet.
2 years ago they came out with a proposal for this. I laughed because it was impossible. It just couldn't be done. And yet in 2 years there's at least 2 airplanes here that I know of that electric that I think can meet the criteria. It's happening, and it's happening exponentially.
The batteries get better, these airplanes are going to get better.
And when we see that, it's going to start to change the way we move about the planet.